Welcome home, Raiders. Tonight, the race to world first starts yet again. The Necromancer hits Diablo and much, much more as Convert to Raid presents the Battlenet News. From the Battlenet News broadcast bunker in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Today is June 27th, 2017, and it is now 10:15 in the p.m., starting on time as usual. Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us from around the Blizzard universe. My name is Pat Crane, your host of this shindig. And yes, of course, the players are here. And first, we'll start off with a guy from the Well Met podcast and the Payoad podcast. It's the return of John Horseman. Hello, John.
I have never been first, ever, on this show.
Look at that.
Suck it, Shark. Suck it, Gizmo. This is me now.
Right.
Number 2, here it is. Hey, Pat. It's
Right.
good to be back.
Hi, buddy.
We had a really fun stream earlier this week, so
well,
it was a lot of fun.
We'll talk about that in just a second. But
Okay, sorry.
I want to bring in the other
here.
guys. Let's bring in the other guys from the Lords of the Storm podcast, all about Heroes of the Storm. It's Gizmo.
Yeah, John, just because you're first doesn't mean that like you can just not.
No, you can't capitalize.
Ignore us.
You can't capitalize on the moment. You can't take over the time. So that's the way it goes.
Why not?
We have things that we need to do. Like introduced from the Ermiger Offensive and the Asparagus Initiative and a bunch of other stuff. It's Sharku.
I've also been never first on this show, and that's because Pat does a good job of saving the best for last. And I'm just,
Okay.
I don't know.
All right.
It's I like the way you run the show, Pat. Keep it up.
You just tell yourself whatever you want to tell yourself. You just feel free. Hi, fellas. Welcome to everybody in Twitchland and around the globe. Sure. Hi. Welcome to the show, and we've got a lot to talk about all the different games. It's kind of a big day for WoW for sure because of that, the Mythic race to world first. It's begun, at least in North America, and we'll check in with that in just a moment. But I want to check in with the guys and see what they've been up to because it's been a while since I've talked to Gizmo. What we talked last week, but what have you been up to since we talked last week?
So this little thing happened that happens on occasion called the Steam Summer Sale. And
yeah.
I fought the good fight. I avoided it for like 2 days.
Right.
And then I got sucked in and I bought a whole bunch of stuff I don't need. I don't watch racing and I bought Motorsports Manager. What?
All right.
So
it must have been a really good deal. It was probably a really good deal.
I don't know. Like what? And did I play it? Yeah, I did. I don't know what I'm doing.
Right.
But
right.
But other than that, it's been Heroes. It's been a little Overwatch this week.
I kind of want a Rocket League manager. I kind of want that. Now that you say Motorsports Manager, I want a Rocket League manager. I want that now. Why? I don't know. I'm just into it. Well, that's fun.
Yeah,
that's a good
great.
time. That's a good time. Shark, how about you? How's the Asparagus Initiative going?
The Asparagus Initiative is going swimmingly. We're doing really, really great.
Good.
I don't know. I sound so excited about everything. No, we're doing good. We were able to down 8 of the 9 bosses on normal our first week out. So yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I'm sure we would have gotten the 9th, except for I spent, at least an hour at least 2 of our 6 hours rating over explaining fights and talking about strat. Like, it was really, really bad. We're working out the kinks on our team, getting to know each other and trying to figure out the best way to do stuff, and maybe find another officer that might be better at doing strats than Sharku.
That was one of the critiques that I heard about the new Asparagus
Initiative.
Initiative.
No, we'll sit and talk. The
Asparagus 2.0, as we're calling it now.
We gotta just like Heroes 2.0. We're reformed and retooling. But no, we have some places to go. But I'm still super proud of the guys. I mean, almost a full clear in the first week is really, really good. We only wiped. I think the most wipes we had was on Siege Engine, and we wiped like 3 or 4 times maybe.
Right.
So like we're rolling right through it. We're gonna be ready to hit heroics next week. I believe we're gonna do a full clear on normal again, and then try to get Kill Jaden down on normal, and then we're gonna go for heroic. So I hope we're gonna be able to do that.
So you haven't seen the cutscene then?
Oh, I have. I'm a spoiler guy. I don't even like as soon as it comes out. Like that's for me. It's like, oh, the movie's out. Let's watch it.
Right.
I don't wait for it in the game. Like I want to see. I want to see it. But no, I do not have Argus. Or well, wait. I'm not going to spoil that for anybody that doesn't want to.
It's a thing.
No, I don't have the thing that's added in the game after you see.
Right.
After you kill him the first time, I don't have that yet.
Right.
So.
Yes.
But anyway, yeah, we're doing really good. Really excited. We are, before I switch, are looking for a tank. If there are any tanks out there that are still looking for a team, we've frozen recruitment for the most part, but we had one of our players need to take a break.
Yeah.
So
that does happen, and it happens all the time, and it's one of those things where you go, oh, that is really terrible for us, but for you, I understand. Go take your break.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And they're always welcome to come back and retrial and whoever. And that's how we are the Asparagus. We're all big. Pat, if you wanted to come back, we'd have you with open arms. Anybody on the team? We've got a few original guys that are still coming with us. But,
I don't know about that. I think that there was.
You said you were playing Bear.
No, that's not real. I play Bear for world quests, world bosses, and other world things. It's not. I don't play it for rating, not yet anyway, because that rating is like a step above my pay grade, just like one step.
No, that's how I feel. I've never healed in raids outside of LFR, and I'm like, no, I think I'm okay.
I can't quite do it.
Tanking's hard, man. You remember the original, like when I first joined AI and I was tanking for you guys.
It was really difficult. It was really difficult to heal you.
Challenge modes. It was challenge before challenge modes.
Every raid time was a challenge mode.
That was the original challenge mode. Was raiding with shark tanking.
It really was. It really was. You're terrible, John. Let's talk a little bit about Hearthstone and Overwatch. What have you been up to in those particular games and other games, I guess, but what's been going on?
I've been wrecking the Pat Crane in Hearthstone.
That's not true. That is not true. So for those guys that don't know, John and I did a stream for the CTR party. And so we started out with Hearthstone, and then we played other games after that. But we started out with Hearthstone. We did 3 or 4 different
4 games.
4 games. And
best of 5.
And yes, it's true. It was best of 5 in 4 games. Because you did beat me quite a bit.
Handily.
However, Quest Rogue totally had you on the ropes.
Yeah, the most OP deck in the game had me against the ropes.
Yep.
Against my 1-turn kill, wild, super low meme priest. You're right. You're right, Pat.
It was pretty cool. You know what I found, John, is that I was playing today, and I am totally serious when I say this. If you're playing Quest Rogue, certain people will just go, oh, you know what? Because you say, hey, I'm a Quest Rogue, turn 1. That's the job. You throw up the quest because it costs 1 mana, and you just say, I am doing this. And you will find that about half the time people just go, you know what? Screw it. I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done.
You
can
then the
win.
goal is
as soon as you like get your quest out and they just concede.
you look at your hand. You have to look at your hand and say, "Can I kill them by turn 6?" And if you can't, you should just hit the concede button. That's
exactly,
right.
exactly. And but the same thing is true with Quest Rogue, because if you get a bad draw for some reason, you are stuck with a bad hand.
Yeah.
And you can't win by 6 or 7. You're also equally screwed, I think, in a lot of cases.
There are no bad hands in Hearthstone, just bad players.
Oh, that's good.
Okay.
That's good.
So what I'm hearing is to climb the ladder now in Hearthstone, I don't even actually need to get the full Quest Rogue deck. I just need to get that one card.
Just need to get the one
and
card.
just throw it out.
1,600 mana, you'll be fine. Yeah.
So, and if they concede, then fine. And if they don't concede, well, then I'm just like, well, okay, never mind.
And the rest of
Then
the
I
deck
concede.
is actually really cheap. Like that's
Right. It
yeah,
is.
just
It's a lot
you just need the one legendary and Van Cleef if you have him, but he's not even essential for that deck.
No, Van Cleef is almost worse in that deck.
Right.
Oh, really?
Because, well, if you don't get him out by turn 3, like there's no
you're
use in
kinda
comboing him, right?
Right.
So it's like a 3-mana 5/5 compared to like Stone Tusk Boar and some of these other really cheap
Or
1/1.
Those cheap charges and the draw card one, I can't remember what it's called. But you know, all that type of stuff. Those cheap cards are the ones that are going to get you there.
I added the Murloc with the taunt that summons the 1/1 taunt.
Yep.
To mine a while back, and that actually helped me a whole lot. That's a really, really strong card for that deck.
There's a lot of really cool cards you can add into those, but you're right. Like it's if you don't get that quest out, or you don't get that quest completed relatively early.
Yeah, you got to get it done by like turn 5 at the latest.
Yep.
Pretty much.
Well, I mean, 5. I would say like 7, but
7.
It's definitely a deck that can be really oppressive. And like right now we're seeing, I won't go too much into it, but on the meta reports, it's got a relatively high skill cap, believe it or not, to play at the highest levels. Like people like us, when we're like, if we don't win by turn 5, 6, or 7, like we're done. When you watch pros play these decks, you know, it's not like a dead draw. And there's a lot of skill that goes into playing the deck optimally against your worst. But if you're running into Quest Rogue and you are, you know, over it, play Pirate Warrior. Easy to pilot, cheap to make.
I love
really
Pirate
powerful
Warrior,
right now.
Or Dragon Priest with a bunch of the big bombs and stuff like that. The big like 5 damage explodies.
You should still lose out. Like you should still lose out.
Dragon Warrior, the aggro druid has been a favorite of mine.
Anything aggro would be fine.
To beat
Crystal
Rogue to beat Crystal Rogue in most situations, you need to play faster and kill them before that they can snowball with 5/5s on the board.
Right. Yep.
Which is difficult to do, but when if they don't get that quest out, or if you have some decent minions on the board before they get that quest out, you can just train face, make them make the trades, and you still win.
Yep. All right. Well, that was Hearthstone. That was the Hearthstone section of the show. So that's really good.
It's done.
No, but so John and I were playing Hearthstone for the CTR Party Kickstarter, and had a great time. Thanks everybody who came out and joined us, and then we played some party games after that. Party. And just as an update to the CTR Party Kickstarter, which is available at convertrade.com/party. You can actually still get some good loot and all that kind of stuff. But because we had a person say, hey, you know what? I'm going to match every dollar raised between now and whatever it was up to $1,000. He said that, and everybody went, really? Is this a thing? Is this a thing that's going to be happening? And he said, yep, it's a thing that's going to be happening. So because of that, we have actually made our first stretch goal, and we're going to have that big, huge photo booth for you and your entire raid team. So, thanks, guys. We're making the party incrementally better, which is really great, and that photo booth is going to be killer. And so now we're going towards that 15K stretch goal where we're going to have a party pack, foam swords. Dude, this is so cool.
I think that's a terrible idea. First of all,
it's such a great idea. Foam swords.
Second of all, I think that's the best idea I've ever heard.
It's so great. And I really want to get there because I want these foam swords out. I want them so bad.
It's going to be so bad.
Plus, everybody who donates is going to get a 5-year enameled pin, and it's going to be great. And we're up to like 95 backers. I think we're, hey, the more the merrier. Let's get them out there and whatever. And we have more stretch goals after that. So make sure to check them out. And so, yeah, that's kind of the deal with the CTR party. And again, there's a lot of loot to be had. Those adult style coloring books are still out there with all, from all the different artists out there. It looks amazing. So go check it out. converttorade.com/party. And with that, party. With that, we will get on to the news. It's news time. Say, Gizmo.
Yes.
It seems that there were some extra Blizzcon tickets laying around somewhere.
Yeah, that there were. So you thought you missed out on your Blizzcon tickets. Mm-hmm. Well, you were wrong. They are coming out with another batch here because they didn't initially do it because they weren't sure if the halls that they were building at the convention center were going to be done, but they are. So it's going to be bigger and better than ever. The new round is going to go on sale July 5th at 7 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time.
That's awesome. Love it. That's great.
That's incredible news. That's huge.
Yeah.
I love having a third round after everybody was like, "Oh my God, I'm not going to go. I'm not going to be able to go to the show."
Yeah.
Here's what I say every year: if you really want to go, go. I'm sure that
something will happen.
Something will happen. You'll be able to get in one of those days at least and take a look around at what's going on. But the big thing is you'll be able to be a part of all the social things like the CTR party and like Con Before the Storm and like the Wowhead party and all that type of stuff. The Hilton bar scene, the Marriott bar scene. If the DJ's playing, go over to the Marriott.
Yeah.
So there's that. But this new round is coming out July 5th, and there's more news on that at the BlizzCon site, BlizzCon.com.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but it's extra exciting because this means we have more space for more stuff. Potentially, I don't know what these halls look like, so maybe Heroes and WoW won't share a stage anymore. Maybe they'll have one of those over there, or else it'll have like the store over there, or whatever. So it's super exciting.
It's all good, and we know from last year, and I don't know if it was there the year before, but last year there was definitely lots of construction going on over there.
Mm-hmm.
And so I remember walking around the place and going, "Where am I? What am I doing? What are all these barriers here?" So. I'm glad that they're going to be done with that.
That's how I felt at the Dark Moon Fair last year. Where am I? What is going on here?
That was
Why do people keep waving me over? I'm confused.
It was kind of cool. I mean, the Dark Moon Fair was kind of cool.
I liked it.
It was really cool. It was just my first year going to the Dark Moon Fair. And I was like, I've got people like, want to buy a pin? Want to buy a pin? I got pins. And I was like, no, I don't have pins. I think I have my Diablo one in my bag. He goes, I'll give you $40. It's like, sir, you've got yourself a deal.
Yeah. Nice. I made the mistake of giving Hannah my credit card and being, I was like, go get some food or something. And I'm going to do this thing. And then you can do whatever. And I'll meet you later. And she came back. She's like, I think I spent like $200 on these balls, and she just had a giant bag full of balls.
No, Oh boy.
What are you doing?
Oh boy.
All I'm saying is that all I'm saying is the Dark Moon Fair in game is a less scary version of the Dark Moon Fair at BlizzCon.
It's all
terrifying for me.
It's all kind of weird and creepy and terrifying for me, both in game and in real life. I'm just saying.
That's fair enough.
I can't wait. I want BlizzCon now.
I know. BlizzCon.
Well, you can't have it.
BlizzCon is a lot closer than you think. So I mean, it's coming up.
It'll be here before we know it.
I know it really will, and I can't wait to see you guys in person. That'll be awesome as well. Say maybe we should talk a little bit about I don't know, World of Warcraft.
A clever strategy.
Thank you. So Mythic race to world first, Shark. Do we know who's ahead right now? I mean, we know that it's just the NA, right? So
right now it is just NA because EU hasn't opened up yet.
Yep.
They'll catch up. Don't worry, guys.
Yep.
They'll catch up.
Right.
But NA, the number one guild right now, the first guild to have downed Mythic Sisters of the Moon is Big Dumb Guild.
Hey, Big Dumb Guild. And I like
Big
the
Dumb
name.
Guild.
The name
It's
is great. I like
Limits
that.
number
It's a
2.
good name.
Limits number 2 right now, and they're the only 2 that have downed that particular boss yet. And we got a few other easy instant dollars benched, or 3, 4, and 5 sitting on 3. I'm sure there's a lot more.
Right.
They don't have them listed that have 3 of 9 down so far. So
don't skip over. I know what you're gonna say. Don't skip over easy. Over easy, because because easy is from our realm, the Airy Peak, area. So big congrats to Easy,
and not just that, they are world first Goroth, and Demonic Inquisition.
Right, and so we have 2 at 4 of 9. We have 10 at 3 of 9. We have 4 at 2 of 9 right now, as far as it goes. And I'm sure that there's 7 at 2 of 9. Sorry. I just updated. So I'm looking at Raider.io, which is a new thing. And it's kind of okay. I mean, it doesn't have a lot of information on it, but the information that it does have is kind of cool. Raider.io just came out and they're doing all the raid progress stuff. So you can kind of check it out if you want to. It's a new site, and they have a nice little graph at the beginning. I like that graph. It's nice. So we have 2 at 4 of 9. We have 15 at 3 of 9. We have 7 at 2 of 9, and we have 31 at 1 of 9. So congrats to all those guys that are trying to move up the ladder on that stuff. That's impressive. I don't care. I mean, for the guys that have done Mythic or, back in the day, heroic progression, and that was basically all of us. If you're trying any of that stuff, that is awesome. That is awesome. And for all those world firsts out there, that's great. I love it.
May your caffeine carry you to victory.
Right. Right. So that's very, very cool. And once we get into, I'm sure that once the EU gets into the scrap, that we're going to see a lot more movement.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The methods and the futures and the, who else is out there? Help me out. I don't know.
Is Exorcist still raiding?
Yes.
Yeah.
So those guys and many more, I'm sure will get into the fray, and we'll see a lot more movement. So we'll have more updates next week, but I just kind of wanted to give you kind of a heads up on some of those things anyway. Let's see. What else about World of Warcraft? There was an AMA on Reddit all about class stuff. Shark, I know that you read some of this stuff, and I know that you had a gripe about it.
Well, I think a lot of it was, I think they were lobbed. I think the questions were kind of lobbed the devs, and they didn't really get into a lot of depth. And maybe I don't know. I'm salty about this expansion for a lot of reasons anyway. I don't know if I've expressed any of them on this show.
No,
but
not at all.
Let's not. Can we not talk about legendaries again?
I didn't bring legendaries up. I didn't bring legendaries up, but they are terrible and the worst thing that WoW's ever done, and they're terrible. But anyway, there's the salt. Salt video there.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's not that bad. There's some interesting things that they talk about, and they do try to go into depth in the questions that they were asked. But I don't know. I think that
you're not finding what you're looking for?
No, I'm not. And I mean, I know a lot of people aren't either. And I've resigned myself as far as class balance and class structure. It's like, okay, things are going to change all the time. Things are just going to change. And even though I was really, really happy with fire at the beginning of the expansion, apparently Blizz thought it was too strong. So they nerfed it. And in some ways I can see how they had a point, but they nerfed it a lot to where it's almost silly to play it instead of other classes, even though it's coming back a little bit now. But I don't know. And all in all, you should really just play what you want to play if you're not like super crazy min-max. Like these guys that are doing world first, maybe they should take a little bit more consideration into what classes are performing the best. But across the board, pretty much everybody else is pretty close, even top to bottom. So just play what you like.
Right. I do think that the balance has been the best it's ever been. I mean, we've talked about this before. I mean, I think the last couple of years we've seen it really come together, and that the balance is great. It's not really, especially if you're not in a world first guild, if you're not trying for number one, right? Bring what you like, and if you play it well, you'll do well.
We've got an arcane mage on our team. I mean, he's playing arcane. I don't know why, but he is. There you go.
Well, there you have it. And so for this AMA, what I would suggest is if you really want to read up on the AMA and everything like that, go to Icy Veins, because they actually did they tried to break it down a little bit more so that it was, you have your general questions and then you have your class questions. And so if you have a particular class that you really want to look at, go for that. But if you want to look at the general stuff, I mean, they talk a little bit about Ghost Crawler in here for whatever reason, and they talk about it's kind of like all over the place.
Like started it out with, at least where I was started reading, they started it out with Ghost Crawler. So Ghost Crawler used to work with you like 4 years ago.
Right. It was a long time ago. I remember I saw him at the first BlizzCon that I went to, and we actually hung out for a little bit, but it was like the most uncomfortable hangout ever. It was like, you enjoying the con so far? He's like, oh yeah. And then you just sit there, and I was like, wow. All right.
Later.
Let's try some other things here.
Good chill.
Right. While we were both just kind of chilling off to the side. I mean, it was very friendly, but it was still a little awkward. So anyway.
I understand. It's like, what do you talk about? You want to try avoid talking about balance and stuff,
right?
So it's like, these are the topics that come to mind when I want to just have a conversation with you. But
and we had already had conversations outside of like, we were just hanging at the Hilton bar, and we were hanging off to the side of it, and we were just trying to get some air from the rest of the crowd. And I had already talked to him like the night before for a Game Breaker deal. Back in the day, and
Game Breaker TV.
Oh yeah, Game Breaker was for the Wednesday night party, the Wowhead party, for that stuff. So I had already talked to him and stuff like that. So we were just kind of sitting there, and I guess it wasn't necessarily awkward, but it was just kind of like this weird kind of silence between us.
It's because there was no DJ.
Maybe no DJ. That's what we needed. We needed a dance party. That's it. All right. But getting back to the story, but I really do think that Icy Veins broke it down pretty well.
Yeah, and they do. You can go straight to, if you're a warlock, they talk directly about warlocks. Right. If you can, and you don't have to go through. I mean, that's probably why I was annoyed while I was reading this, because I was trying to read everything to kind of understand have an understanding for the show tonight, and I was like, okay, I'm just done with all of this.
Yeah, it's tough,
and class balance isn't the problem for this expansion. It's not, and that's why I don't think I enjoyed this AMA.
Some people might disagree with you. Some people don't really agree with some of the stuff that they're doing, and they're talking.
Oh, I don't
about
think
that
it's perfect.
No.
And that's what they said. It's never going to be class balance. Is never going to be intricate balance and all that stuff. It's not going to be perfect, but
sure. Well, and one of the big beefs that I saw was about class fantasy, right? I mean, they want everything to be this class fantasy thing where every spec feels different and fresh and like an individual thing. And they didn't necessarily deliver on all of those points that they really wanted to make necessarily with all the different specs out there. They did a pretty good job of it, but I think that some of them may not necessarily. It's subjective a little bit.
I think so, and it might just depend on what you play. I mean, Mage, I think might be one of the ones people are having problems with. Like Frost Mage and Fire, they seem similar, but they've always kind of had a good for a while done well at sort of separating them. Like Frost spells were mainly Frost, but I don't know. But I mean, I've been playing my Demon Hunter, or not my Demon Hunter, my Warlock recently, and I've played both Demonology and Affliction, and I haven't gotten into Destruction yet, and I hear that's a whole lot of fun and got a lot of changes. But like Demonology feels you're throwing demons at people. Like that's what you do. You're lobbing demons. Affliction is all about just curses and keeping those curses up and draining their soul. And so for me, the fantasy is working, and I think it's better than it's ever been.
Sure. Oh yeah.
But I do understand how some people.
I think that's fine. But some people don't really find it that way. So
I think Priest really, like, if there was one class that was really great at emphasizing that, I would feel like Druid probably had to be really good, because you have like such dynamic different specs. But Priest, I would say, is probably a pretty close second, because I'm a Shadow Priest, of course. And like the Shadow Priest stuff was amazing, the fantasy of it, and why, some priests use, the light, and the Shadow Priests, call on, the darkness and the void and all that stuff. It was just so cool to be able to like kind of, it's weird because Shadow Priests were famous for complaining about getting recognized by Blizzard. So, like that was a nice little way to make it happen. But I fully enjoyed it, but I could definitely see, especially like Rogue or Mage, how do you really, differentiate those in the fantasy of those? Like Rogue, what is it? Assassination and
subtlety.
Subtlety. Like, what's the difference between assassination fantasy and subtlety fantasy? That's, it's going to be a lot more difficult to telling a story,
That makes a lot of sense. They tried with Outlaw Rogue.
They're a pirate
doing that, but it's
right. I'm not saying like they didn't try or anything. It was just that's going to be a lot more difficult to be like, well, this guy, he's kind of tubby, so he can't be so subtle or something. Like he can't he's got a club foot,
and everybody. Well, the biggest problem is that everybody has their own idea of what class fantasy should be. And so then they're putting their own stuff into it instead of what Blizzard has deemed the thing, right? So there's a little bit of tug of war with people's ideas of what the class fantasy should be and what it actually is, and how it plays out in games. So and
especially
really
with
the subjective part.
With RPers, it's almost like they're having Blizzard RP for them, for the way that they're wanting, all this stuff that's happening. It's like, I don't know, because for example, my Warlock, I'm not really into RP. I don't get offended. I can change my RP anytime if I want to. But like I made my Warlock a little gnome with the comb over and an old man. He's just grinning all the time. He's a very happy, nice Warlock, bringing on the fell magics of the Burning Legion to twist to his, but he's very happy about it the whole time. But if they, I know it's really, really bad. If you guys want to hear a nerd talking about RP, you need to listen to Torridge, by the way.
Oh yeah.
I love that guy.
Oh yeah.
But I think maybe some of the fantasy choices that Blizzard's, for lack of a better term, forcing onto your character, I think maybe the RP guys are having more of an issue with it, where it's not
sure.
It doesn't feel like what they think it's supposed to feel like, or what it felt like in the past when it was at its best for them or whatever. So I get that, but I think across the board, I still think Blizzard is trying really hard Blizzard is doing better generally than they ever have with this particular issue.
Sure. I think so,
and I think it's been fun, but I see why people are upset.
Yeah, it's just you know, it's a thing. It's a thing.
But just keep in mind, that's not the problem. Legendaries and gearing is the problem.
All right.
Ooh.
That sounds great. And just so everybody knows, there's another story here, and I'm going to briefly say that if you cheat in World of Warcraft, or if you get people to pay you real money for doing in-game things, those are both bad. And that's why Blizzard bans people. So don't do that. There was a story about a real-world transaction in exchange for raid clears. We've talked about this before.
Several times. Don't
be a part of that. Don't be a part of that, because they'll get the raid team, and they'll get you.
It's a little different these days in the fact it's not Blizzard's fault, but it kind of looks bad in some ways, because it's like, oh, you cannot pay these people to run you through, but you can buy some WoW tokens and get some gold, so you can pay us to pay them to run you through.
Right.
So, and that's wasn't their intentions by any means, but it is a way to just kind of keep the integrity of the game.
I didn't even think about it like that.
Yeah. I mean, you can totally go buy tokens to get gold, and then,
right.
But, you know, there's people that are upset about, like, oh, well, then you need to control people of, you know, you shouldn't let people who have bigger wallets be better at the game. That's not the case.
Win.
Don't say that.
Pay to win.
That's what Hearthstone is for.
Right.
You can have the best gear in the game and still just be, you know, stand in fire and die.
I like
so.
that. That was funny. That was really funny. Okay, I don't want to spend too much time on it, though, because it's not really worth it. Instead, we'll go over to the world of Overwatch.
Now we're cooking with gas.
Yeah. Johnny.
Yes.
You do a show about Overwatch, so I'm going to lean on you a little bit here. There was some changes to loot boxes. Jeff Kaplan came on, and he had a video. What did he have to say?
So Overwatch and Hearthstone both announced kind of similar things. So think a little bit Hearthstone as well as I go through this.
Okay.
So first, you know, loot boxes, these things that I have spent about $480 on since the game launched.
Oof.
Doors closed, right? Nope. Katie didn't hear that. Great. Well, that's something we'll talk about after we tie the knot completely, you know?
Right.
But I have an addiction to loot boxes. So basically one of the biggest frustrations with loot boxes is duplicates. So starting immediately soon, it's on the PTR now. They're going to be drastically reducing the amount of duplicates players will receive when opening loot boxes. Now, I know some of you people who want to complain about that change. You're like, well, what about all the credits I got from those duplicates? They thought of that too. So you're also going to get more credits to compensate for the reduction of duplicate items that you get. So not only do you get less duplicates, you get more credits per duplicate to compensate for that. And on average, players should be earning just as many credits, if not slightly more, from loot boxes, but now you're getting way less duplicates. So pretty neat overall. This is awesome.
And for that, really, it deserves a big applause for that one. I think that's pretty cool, because I always hate it when I get all those stupid duplicates in no matter what game it is. I don't care what it is. If I'm getting duplicates, I don't like it. It doesn't matter if it's Overwatch or Hearthstone or Rocket League. I don't care. All those. Ugh.
Yeah,
duplicates.
and I like to think that the Heroes of the Storm loot box system kind of helped influence this a little bit just because of how awesome it is. And it made the duplicate system and the amount of credits you were getting for it in Overwatch seem even worse than it already was. So look at that. Blizzard IPs helping each other out.
Yeah. That's nice.
Yeah.
That's nice. And so we're seeing the same thing in Hearthstone, basically, right? So we're seeing lower duplicates.
Yeah.
And that type of thing.
So a little bit with Hearthstone, what you're going to be seeing is that you'll no longer be able to get duplicate legendaries.
Okay.
So one of my biggest gripes with Unguro is I found that a lot of the legendaries that I opened were duplicates. I would say I opened probably 8 or 9 in about 100 packs. And I would say 3 or 4 of them were duplicates, which means that I really got 5 or 6, maybe 7 if you say, well, from the rest of the duplicates you got that. So you don't have to deal with that. You can never get more than one duplicate. Well, you can never get more than one legendary duplicate, and you can never get more than the amount of cards you can get in a single deck in a pack. So those Mimi packs with like 3 of the same card, you don't have to worry about getting those anymore too. So
cool.
Really great change for Hearthstone, who
very cool.
It is one of the most grueling and grinding ways to get cards and stuff out of all the games. Maybe Heroes of the Storm is a little bit more grueling and grinding, except that Heroes of the Storm, if I understand correctly, those loot boxes are all aesthetic, whereas these ones directly affect.
You can get heroes out of the loot boxes.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, you can.
Sure. Okay. So I mean, but either way, it doesn't affect your game near to the extent that acquiring cards in Hearthstone does.
Correct.
Right.
That is very true.
That is true. And since we were talking about Hearthstone, I need to play this.
Well met.
Just because I want to get it out of the way. I want to just say that we've talked
We're
about
not going to talk about the replay highlight features?
I want to talk about those.
Okay.
Absolutely. So
I have a question.
Go ahead.
As far as these crafted legendaries, John. So if I understand correctly, is this like within a time frame thing, or hey, I crafted Tyrion Forgering, I will never get him from a pack?
You will never get him from a pack. Unless you own every legendary in a set. Once you own, let's say, an Ungoro, you own every Ungoro legendary. From then on, you'll start getting random duplicates of existing Ungoro legendaries when you open Ungoro packs, which makes perfect sense, right? Because you're not going to not get legendaries just because you own them all. But they'll just be randomized from there. But until that last one, which means that if you have 29 out of the 30 legendaries, that's a random made-up number. You know exactly on Legendary 29 what that 30th legendary will be when you open up that certain pack.
And your chances of getting the legendary are still the same? Or getting a legendary?
As far as we know.
To my knowledge.
As far as we know. Yeah, there's nothing that they said that they're changing the frequency of you getting legendaries or anything like that. They did say that starting with the next expansion, in the first 10 packs that you open, you're guaranteed a legendary from that set. So basically, in the past, Hearthstone has had a pity timer of 40 packs.
Yeah.
So it means that you could go potentially up to 40 packs before you get a legendary. Now, the first set of packs that you get, whether it's acquired via the ladder or via purchase, within those first 10 packs, you'll get a legendary.
That's awesome. Cool. That's awesome, dude. Now, I know that we started in Overwatch, then we moved to Hearthstone, and now we're going to switch back to Overwatch. We're going to go back and forth because, I mean, you know, this is kind of like, well, that was important, though, because we're talking about duplicates and about legendaries and about all those different things. So that's kind of the overview in Overwatch and Hearthstone. But there's more news in Overwatch, right, John?
Yes.
Okay. What's going on?
And this is for all you Overwatch players out there who have an amazing game and you get like outplay the game by a 5 res mercy or something like that. So what they're doing now is we're actually getting more features for exporting and sharing highlights. So starting with the next patch, you can now generate your own highlights. You can hotkey it to something on your keyboard to generate a highlight. You can store up to 32 of those highlights in your game client, and you can export those to your most popular file types there. And this is including on Xbox and PS4. So on the console as well, you'll be able to do that, which is really cool. And they'll just go and export how they do on console, but you'll have some options there. You'll still have the automatically generated ones as well. Okay. So nice. Pretty neat overall. Capture those highlights, make it a little bit easier to get those out and share with the world if you're not like super into it and don't have multiple computers or don't want to have to run, capture software through the whole thing. Like that's such a pain in the butt for so many people. So
is that live? Yeah. When is that live? Is that live now?
It's on the PTR.
Okay.
So presumably with the next patch.
Because today I had some sweet moves playing Diva in arcade mode in the mayhem mode, and really really good. Multiple kills per explodey. So that was really awesome. And I wanted to capture those. And I actually did get play of the game on one of them. So I was pretty stoked.
Congratulations, Patrick.
Arcade mode is the best. That mayhem mode, oh, so nice. So nice.
It is. When I'm on Zarya in that mayhem mode, it is ridiculous. I'm just bubbling everything. Yeah. I am probably every 20 seconds, I've got a graviton surge up, and it's like one of the only times you can actually win those games. So I love it. It's so much fun.
Right. That's good. That's good. All right. Anything else? Overwatch or Hearthstone? For us,
for Hearthstone, there is the bonus packs. So until July 10th, you do get about 20 to 30% bonus packs if you're buying Ungoro packs.
Oh, cool.
So
cool. Awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. I think it's like 7 to 9, 15 to 18. And like, I think for 50 packs, you end up getting like 18 extra packs for $50 or something like that. It's cool. It's a great bonus. If you're looking to get in and get a decent collection, this will be a great way to do this. So
cool. Awesome. Hey, I'm going to go to Diablo now.
Which doctor? This doctor.
Because I really want to talk about this. Today released the Necromancer patch. And Gizmo, I know that you are a big Diablo fan.
Yes.
Did you get to play the Necromancer today?
I did. Okay. Right when I got home from work, I got my Necromancer up to like 53, I think he is right now.
Already?
So it's pretty fast right now because season 10 is over. Season 11 has not started, which is kind of unfortunate because I'll have to level Necromancer, which I won't have a problem doing as soon as that starts. But so I have all my Paragon points from the carryover. So it's made leveling pretty fast. But I am super stoked. I'm probably going to push season 11 pretty hard on the ladder. But there's a lot of cool things that came in this besides just the Necromancer that you don't have to purchase. The purchase pack is just for the Necromancer. They're going to give you a pet and some wings along with that pack. But as well as obviously the items for the Necromancer
and other things and whatever. So yeah, there's a bunch of stuff actually going on with it. I actually got to get in there and try it out for a little bit. I'm not up to level 53 or anything like that, but because I haven't played in a bit, and when I do play, I'm usually playing on console. But today I went on PC to play it, and it's pretty fun. I was having a good time with that one. It's a pretty cool class. I'm really digging it so far. So that's great. That's great.
Yeah, the corpse explosion is
is the best. Yes.
It's so fun.
Oh my god. So Corpse Explosion works just the way you think it does. You wherever your arrow's hovering over, hit that one button or is it Q? It's one.
It's wherever you want to set it at.
Well, I have it set at one. So and then it's just all over but the crying. It's really great.
Yep. It's all over the place.
It's blood everywhere. It's perfect.
But for those of you that have no interest in playing the Necromancer or anything like that, there's still stuff, features for you all. They're releasing challenge rifts, which are meant to kind of explore new builds created by fellow players. It's going to be weekly. They're going to, I don't know how they're going to work necessarily if you can like submit your runs, but it's going to be a static rift where you are given the set pieces and everything, and it's going to be a competition ladder.
Awesome.
Just like the greater rifts, except for a week-long basis.
Mm-hmm.
And if you beat just the original time of the person that set it, then you can unlock unique items, I believe. I don't know if it's like wings or things like that, but you get unique stuff, which is really cool. An incentive to get in there. It's kind of Diablo's take on all the weekly brawls and stuff that we've been seeing in the other games.
That's awesome.
There's also 2 new zones, the Moors and the Temple of the Firstborn, which are really cool. And then new bounties, Realms of Fate, which are interesting. They're kind of, it's an area to where you can see like the seams of reality, and you can be in one zone and just cross this border, and now you're in a completely different zone. So it's kind of just a mashup of, I think, like 4 different zones all in one area, which is kind of cool.
Weird.
So they're continuing to add stuff to this game to keep it interesting, add new more competitive modes. And I love Diablo. Such a good series.
Diablo's cool, man. And I really like some of the ideas that they're coming up with to keep interest in the game beyond seasons. And, because I mean, they have a longer route that they're traveling. So it's, you got to keep people back in the game for something. And these weekly maps are going to be great, or these weekly challenges. So
yeah, and
it'll be cool.
Yeah, and it's, you got to keep in mind too, this is a game that doesn't have any form of, upkeep for them as far as costs. Like this Necromancer pack is the first thing since Reaper of Souls. So the fact that they continue to support these games, I mean, they supported Diablo 2 up until just a few years ago.
Right.
Is really cool. So if you are a Blizzard fanboy like me, which they have earned my fanboyism, $15 for a new class and stuff is, I mean, that's what I would pay for a brand new hero in Heroes of the Storm.
Sure.
So it's a great way to kind of give back to allow them to keep doing stuff like this.
Absolutely. Speaking of Heroes of the Storm, maybe we should move to that.
Let's roll.
Let's do it. Let's roll. So one of the things that I was accosted with in my email was a bunch of odd-looking things in swimwear.
A lot of stuff in your face.
Yep, a lot of stuff in my face. I'm not. I don't think I liked it one bit. It was not. It was not good.
We know where the cigar went now. It disappeared. And we have found where it fell down in the suit.
Sun's out, guns out.
Yep.
So it's there. But yeah, Pat, it's hot up in Minnesota. It's hot in Florida. Yeah. So, beat the heat with the Sun's Out, Guns Out event. It is their new kind of summer thing. There's a lot of cool stuff you can get. There's skins for Stitches, Tracer, Tychus. It's Tychus in a Speedo.
It's Tychus. Tychus is the problem.
He is in a Speedo.
Stitches is a little bit of a problem, but whatever.
Yeah, but the thing with Tychus is Blizzard, you guys knew exactly what you were doing, and part of me loves you for it, part of me hates you for it. Sure. But it's a thing. There's new mounts.
Wait, which part loves it? Never mind. Don't get into it. Let's not get into that.
Oh man. Yeah, they got new mounts, new skins, new sprays, all sorts of goodies, and an awesome new brawl. It's a poll party And this is going to be 5v5 stitches, bikini stitches. And you're going to use a hook to pull the enemy team across the pool to your side and then kill them.
Oh.
So it's going to be really interesting. I think it's cool.
Be interesting.
Game mode. I haven't played it yet, so
that is going to be interesting.
A pool party.
Pool party.
I just got it.
Oh, Blizz. Blizz, what will you think up next?
Oh my God.
That's funny.
It's worth mentioning that this is going to go through
July 24th.
Yes, there it is. July 24th. So a little less than a month.
Yeah.
But you want to get in the loot crates for these items, exclusive items now. Anytime you earn a loot crate throughout this event from leveling up, it will be the summer loot crate, or you can buy them per use. But if you earned a loot crate prior to this, it's still going to be a regular loot crate.
Cool.
So all you guys saving up your loot crates, that's all I have to say.
Okay.
I was getting so annoyed with people on my team that are like, I'm saving up all my loot crate for the new stuff. I'm like, just open them when you get them. It's fun.
It's
fun.
I don't know.
It was kind of rough because they weren't super clear when we had talked to them way back at the media summit. They were talking about how, you could save up loot crates, and then when new skins are introduced, you would be able to get those. However, the exclusive items, event items, were kind of
do not count for that.
Yeah, and they didn't really say how those were going to be done. We didn't know if they were going to be exclusive crates, like that we could earn. We didn't know if we'd have to buy them. So a lot of people actually leveled up their heroes, like a whole bunch of their heroes, to leveling within one game, and now they're just going through and knocking those out. So smart play by you all.
Right.
And then the one other thing that's awesome to go along with this event is the Suns Out, Guns Out sweepstakes. And this is a weekly sweepstakes that's going to be going for until the 28th here. And to enter, all you have to do is win a game of Heroes of the Storm every day. You get an entry. And this is that's awesome. In any game mode besides Brawl. So that means AI.
John, you can play. You can play. Get involved in the sweepstakes. You can play.
John,
you can play against AI. It's totally cool.
XD, Kappa.
You want to know what the rewards are, John? Huh?
What are the rewards? Tell them what the rewards are.
They have common, rare, epic, and legendary. The common are 100,000 winners will receive 5 loot chests. Rare, 10,000 winners will receive 50 loot chests.
Whoa.
The epic, hold on to your butts here. Epic, 50 winners receive digital copies of major Blizzard PC titles and $250 in Battlenet balance.
Whoa.
50 winners will receive 30 select legendary skins. 10 winners will receive a 24-inch tall collectible Illidan statue. I don't know if you guys remember those coming out, but those are freaking awesome.
They are.
Like the 12-foot ones that we see at BlizzCon?
It's that one.
Yeah, if you get one of those.
It's not.
Yes. Okay,
it's
now
not
I'm
gonna
interested.
fit in your house.
You do have to pay shipping and handling on that.
$4 million.
And then a legendary, one winner every week will receive a legendary top-of-the-line PC complete with a full suite of Corsair peripherals worth over $2,400 every week.
New PC. Look at that, John. You could get a new PC just by playing
another.
Heroes.
Nah, I just put in sweet RGB fans into mine. I'm good.
Okay, John. What about
good,
this,
bro?
What about this?
All right.
A Mythic grand prize, which is a trip for 2 to BlizzCon, including hotel accommodations, travel, BlizzCon tickets, and a BlizzCon goodie bag.
I'll take that.
What's the Mythic Plus?
Yeah, is there a Mythic Plus?
What's
Mythic
the
Plus
ethics
12.
on that?
Mythic
What
Plus
do I
15?
put my 15 key into?
Right. Yep.
You got me. You get
This podcast
So-
is getting weird.
Hold on for a second. I do want to go back to something here because I didn't actually totally understand this. So you're telling me that I think it was the epic version or the rare version was like $250 Battle.net balance.
Uh-huh.
Which one was that?
That was one of the epic rewards, and that is for equivalent regional currencies.
Sure. Was that it for that one?
So you get a digital
and
copy.
you get a digital copy of all the games already owned. So
Right.
yeah, so the next one is 30 legendary skins.
Yes.
So you're telling me that 30 legendary skins is worth more $250 plus another, let's just say $50 times 6, so 300. So you're telling me 30 legendary skins are worth more than $550?
I don't know the exact equivalents now because of shards and stuff. I imagine it's near the same, but legendary skins were typically between like $12 and $15.
Wow.
Prior to Loot 2.0.
Wow.
John, they're legendary.
They are legendary.
What?
They are legendary.
He goes.
Hey,
I am literally spit taking.
Hey, John, but you know what else? That just makes the Heroes loot system so much cooler because you can get that for free. And guess what? I didn't buy the game for $60 and then not be able to get the legendary skins I want.
Yes, that's true. That is true.
Sorry, I'm still cleaning up from that. That was the dumbest thing I've ever done on the show.
Well, no, I don't think it was the dumbest. I think it was close. Maybe.
You're right. Cat Praying was probably the dumbest.
Cat Praying was
good old Cat Praying.
Good old Cat Praying. So that's all the stuff for. I mean, the sweepstakes sounds cool. So I mean, start playing, and then you'll get entered as you win games, which is great.
And they didn't. I wish there was because they have quests in Heroes of the Storm.
Sure.
I wish they had a tracker, because I don't know. Obviously, when you win a game, but it doesn't really tell you hey, you're entered for this or today. You didn't. You put in an entry. Mm-hmm. But if you win, they will contact you at the end of that week just through your email that is connected to your Battle.net account. So make sure you keep checking that account.
All right. So maybe I shouldn't have it to a junk@gmail.com. I shouldn't have it
junk@gmail.com.
That's all I have it.
A junk.
Yeah.
A junk at
Gmail. A junk. So yeah, exactly. Okay, we have one more thing to talk about, and we're going to go back to Overwatch, believe it or not, to talk about eSports a little bit.
Anyone want a popsicle?
Nope, no thanks, I'm good. But John, I want you to kind of talk me through this because they're building something for the Overwatch League, right?
Yes.
And it's a scouting report type of thing.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Can you go into a little bit more description, please?
Yeah. So Nate Nanzer, the commissioner for Overwatch League, he's been largely quiet for the last few months, honestly, since a Q&A in South Korea. But he came out and said that they're going to be developing a scouting report on some of the top players in Overwatch. And this is kind of, if you're used to if you've ever read, for me, I read a guy, I forget his last name, Nick, he did the Twins scouting report for the Minnesota Twins. And every year I would get a booklet of all these different AAA, AA college players in kind of a tiered format. Let me know about them. Let me know interesting stats. And basically we're getting the same thing, but for Overwatch. And so they're creating a pretty intense committee of high-end players, high-end casters. Jamerson, one of the co-hosts of the Payoad, is on the committee that's going to be contributing to those scouting reports. And then after they've compiled and created these scouting reports, they'll be distributed to teams and team owners so that there's a level playing field and a level amount of communication, unbiased, about some of the best players. Because especially in esports, a lot of it is how good you are. And then probably the second most important thing is who do you know? Sure. And this kind of gets away a little bit. A little bit from that and says, well, no, centralized here. It doesn't matter if you are really good at networking, as long as you've hit these certain platforms and echelons in the game, there's a chance that one of the many people chosen to scout out these players and provide scouting reports will be able to provide information about you as a player to make you a better prospect for other teams. So it is really neat, but man, we're getting into like straight major league sports at this point, and
that's what it sounds like.
It's kind of uncharted territory. I tried to do some research ahead of time and see if I could find anything similar official by any of the other major esports, and I think there might be something for Counter-Strike that's semi-similar, but not at this level and not from the ground up like Overwatch is making it. So it's a pretty interesting thing.
This is really cool, actually, because if they're going into this kind of depth into trying to scout players and all that kind of stuff, that says what they're going to be all about. They're pretty serious. And there was another article that came out this week about how Overwatch is it's the game for Blizzard, really, in a lot of ways, and kind of went into how Overwatch is really killing it with everybody out there. I mean, because it's not only because it's easy to kind of pick up and play, but because they are doing all of the right things inside and outside the game to make people feel connected to it. And now with the eSports stuff, that's only going to enhance it even more. And it seems like they want to make sure that this is going to be as pro as anything else. Actually, as more pro than everything else out there. Or at least that's the intent, right? So that's what it kind of seems like to me.
Yeah, I mean, it's for all intents and purposes, it's its own genre. It's getting its own backing from a company who doesn't stumble often, especially on big bets. You know, there's not a lot of stumbling there. It's a company that, you know, really does things right. And when you look at the people that they're bringing in and getting involved, when you're looking at these $15-20 million buy-in slots
right
into this league, like there is, I mean, it could fail. It could fail,
sure,
but you can't say like it would, at the end of the day, it'd be because of the game itself and not the infrastructure that went around it, assuming that they get enough people to buy in.
Right. Well, but you know,
itself.
I mean, Blizzard is in for the long game. I mean, that's the way that they play. They play the long game. They've played it since day one because, and you can tell because of all the different, you know, games that they've incorporated into WoW, especially. I mean, because remember, there would be a new game out and everybody would go, "Oh, this is the WoW killer. This is the WoW killer," and they go, "Nope, we're just gonna kind of morph that into our game somehow." And everybody will just kind of play our game, continue to play our game, and they play this really long game with all of their different properties, and they're doing the same thing with Overwatch and with the esports aspect of it because they didn't like try to start something immediately as soon as they had an esports, you know, wing of Activision Blizzard. They didn't try anything right then. But they have been working hard at it and diligently, and this is the kind of stuff that I can really get behind because I'm like, yes, this is what I want. I want something super solid, super pro, super awesome, and I think they're trying to deliver that. Whether or not they do is still yet to be seen, but they're trying, and that's cool. So there.
Yeah, and
I'll step off my soapbox now.
My one question here is, so we have this scouting report.
Yeah.
Is there going to be some sort of like draft to get these, or is it just going to be you send a contract to these players, hey, this is what we want to offer you, and they sign on?
So Blizzard they started off with the initial announcement saying that there was going to be like a draft and a combine like the NFL, right? And then with his Q&A in South Korea, they kind of stepped away from that a little bit and said, we don't want to step on other organizations' toes as much. And organizations can, you know, potentially pick talent in any way they want, which is a little bit contradictory. But now we have Overwatch League, which we don't know much about yet, and we don't really have any concrete details or dates. We have Overwatch Contenders, which is going on now. And that is the development league for the Overwatch League. So think of it as like AAA baseball. Yeah, it's minor league.
Yep.
And then now we have the Overwatch Open Division, which is the league right below the Overwatch Contenders League. It's the developmental league for the developmental league for Overwatch League.
Right.
Yeah, single A, double A, however you want to look at it.
Yep.
And so they have that. And now we're unsure. Now, how it kind of works is if you do well in the Open Division, you get a spot in Contenders. You do well in Contenders, and there's a lot of confusion about, does that mean you get a spot in Overwatch League? Does that mean that you can you get like prime exposure to the Overwatch League teams to have your players and teams brought on? We don't know. Will there be a few teams in Overwatch League that are the winners from Contenders? We don't really totally know yet. We do know that this Overwatch Contenders Season 0 is going to look drastically different than Overwatch Contenders Season 1 going forward. Mm-hmm. We had over 1,000 teams between NA and EU sign up. You didn't have to be Masters Plus. Like us 4 and 2 others could have made a team and try to compete in Overwatch Contenders. Have Pat on Junkrat and everybody else play good heroes.
You're damn right.
You know,
wait, what?
and they could do that. But going forward, these Overwatch Contenders, there's a lot of invited pro teams and things like that are going to make that a little bit more kind of weird. So as far as an actual draft, we haven't really heard anything since the initial video.
Sure.
But as far as like a system where players can kind of progress through, kind of single A, double A, triple A, major league, absolutely that will be in place.
Cool. Yeah, my main concern is I really hope there's a system in place to where it's not like esports now, most esports, to where it is the team with the most money can get the best players.
Salary cap.
Yeah.
There should be a salary cap.
Like a salary cap, or like a draft for this, inaugural season, to where you are having to strategically pick your players. That way that the talent's spread among all the teams. And then after that, it's, contracts, trading deadlines, things like that to kind of keep the balance, so you don't have the rich teams just dominating over the teams that can't afford it, which I'm sure they will get something in place. But for this to take its step into the direction I think they're wanting to go, that's going to be a really important thing, and probably a pretty difficult thing to do.
We'll definitely have to see, though. I mean, right now, if you look at the scene, like there's no such thing as a salary cap, and there are some teams like Hammers Esports and Yikes, which is now Arc 6. Like these teams are playing for free, and they're playing with some of the best rosters, Cloud9, NRG, in the world. So it's NRG isn't the best in the world, but like Cloud9, Rogue. There's a lot of players who are presumably paid a lot more than these other teams that are still doing very well. There might be enough high-end talent to keep those salaries down just to begin with. Like we're not talking about, when we talk about the salary for these players, we know Blizzard is providing an infrastructure that includes like insurance and salaries and things like that. There's we're not talking about $1 million+ players just yet a year kind of thing. We're not there yet. Maybe in 5-10 years,
maybe
we'll
like
see
maybe like a couple $100 a year. That's about it.
Couple $100 a year.
Yep.
Tell you what,
Yep.
dude,
That's
we'll
what
buy
I make.
you all your Red Bull for a year, bro.
Right.
Basically.
Right.
and pizza rolls.
Right. Pizza,
right.
all the pizza rolls, and you know what? We'll even pay for your internet bill. Like, it won't.
Hey, look out.
It's not Red Bull
we're in.
and pizza rolls. It's
We're
Mountain Dew and Doritos.
Either way, I'm in.
If you're Diva,
I'm in.
I mean, here's the thing. I found out that I go through my 1 terabyte cap from my amazing internet provider.
Yep.
In 5 days.
Yeah.
5 days
Yeah, it doesn't
of
take me
streaming
long
and
either.
podcasting. It's just gone. And so every time I call in to try to do anything, be like, hey, you probably don't need this. And I'm like, I need it 6 times most months.
Right.
Like, yes, I do need that.
Yes.
Thank you, though.
Yes.
Please just give me my upload back.
Yep. Nope. I'm with
Digression.
you, buddy. I'm totally with you. I'm totally with you. All right.
But yeah, it looks amazing.
So that's kind of the scoop with the Overwatch League, and we'll try to keep you guys up to date on everything that's going on with Overwatch League. Everybody's really hyped about it because it does have a lot of promise at this point. I mean, we haven't seen anything that is like big red flags. Oh my God, this is going to be terrible. Everything that I've seen has been like, you know what? It seems methodical. It seems pro. It seems very, very high-end pro at that point as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm stoked. I am so stoked for this. I want this to happen now, but I'm willing to wait.
Feel the stoke, Pat. Feel the stoke.
I'm willing to wait just a little bit, but I am going to be on that hype train when that thing comes rolling around the bend. I'm going to be on that sucker.
We just need Michael Jordan to buy a team and bring one over here to Charlotte.
Sure.
I'd go every week.
Sure.
Every week I'd be there.
Hey, we got to get out of here, folks. But before we do, let's go around the room and see what the guys are up to this week and next week, because we're actually going to be off next week because Tuesday is July 4th, and that's an American holiday. So
an American holiday.
It sure is.
I don't know why all Americans have Southern accents, but they do now.
So, Shark, what are you up to this week?
Oh
And
man,
next?
I'll be streaming a little bit. I've been trying to stream the AI raid, so come join us for that on Thursday and Sunday nights. And but I'll be around doing that sort of stuff.
Awesome.
Cooking out of the 4th, watching some fireworks.
Yep. Watching some
That'd be good.
fireworks. Yeah.
I'll stream the fireworks for you guys. Would you like that?
There you go. We should all stream the fireworks together.
Yep. And that's at twitch.tv /CTR or Sharku_CTR.
That's
Twitter's the same thing. Sharku_CTR.
right. Gizmo, how about you, bud? What are you up to in the next couple of weeks here?
Well, tomorrow night, as always, Wednesdays, we have our new episode of Lords of the Storm.
Is always Wednesdays.
It's Wednesdays, and it's
I said
Lords of the
always
Storm.
I said
Wednesdays.
tomorrow night, and then I said as always, because people could listen to this Thursday, so I have to
Right.
say
And it
as
comes
always
after Tuesday.
Right.
Wednesday.
Listeners at home.
Wednesday. Lords of the Storm, or twitch.tv /Lords of the Storm. John, you have me all flustered.
Sorry. It was just
Aw.
really funny.
Everybody's
It's
throwing
just
you off
really
tonight.
funny way
I'm
to put
sorry. I'm sorry.
9 p.m. Central Standard Time. And then all my personal streams and stuff is at Gizmozord. You can find me all over
Awesome.
the place. Just look up Gizmozord.
Awesome. And John, how about you, bud? What's you're doing the massive stream schedule still? And all that kind of good
Yeah,
stuff?
so I'm back at it. I took a few days off, like 10, and it was a really rough about a week and a half trying to figure stuff out. I actually tried a part-time job called DoorDash, and I quit after 3 shifts. It was the worst. It was
DoorDash?
the worst. So
DoorDash.
we'll pretend I didn't say the company's name,
Okay.
but basically
Do you
what it
ring
is
a doorbell
like
and run
for-
away?
No, for yes, right.
I did that when I was a kid. I quit after
For-
like one night. It was.
It's an app where you can order food from restaurants that don't deliver and
Right.
get someone to deliver it to you.
Right.
It's really
Right.
great. And it's like a totally set your own schedule, $6 per delivery plus tips. I'm like, if I get 1 or 2, like that's decent money. And so I do it. And no joke, the app starts out really nice. It's like, hey, good job. You finished your first dash. Hey, wow, great job. You beat it. You got that done by the time. And then all of a sudden starts sending you more and more and more orders until you have like 6 deliveries lined up that you need to finish in the next 20 minutes. And you're hitting decline and cancel. Starts threatening you. It's like, hey,
Nice.
hey, if you decline 2 more of these, you're going to fall below your threshold. And,
Right.
we're going to start puncturing your tires.
We're gonna
And
come to your house.
it was just
know what?
awful.
You know what? That would be a great mobile app game as well. It would be like a great video game for your iPad or something like that.
That's what
Sounds
Pirate Poops in
perfect.
the chat room says. It sounds like Dinner Dash the game.
Yeah,
like
it really
actually
does.
a video game out
It
there.
really does. It
Yeah,
sounds like
it was
that.
terrifying. But anyways, you can find me now at twitch.tv/kicktripod. For all of you listeners out there, there's some pretty big news coming out for Twitch streamers. If you follow any Twitch streamers who are not partnered, but have, a relatively decent following, they are probably affiliates. And starting this week, you'll be able to use Twitch Prime or your own credit card to be able to subscribe and support those streamers. I think Gizmo, you're an affiliate, right?
Yes.
So
there you
Gizmo's
go.
an affiliate. I know, like Convert to Raid, you guys are affiliates. So
I don't know. I don't think so.
Gotta be. Jules is an affiliate. Anyways,
I
like a lot of your favorite
Sure.
creators are affiliates, and so
Sure.
it's a great new way to support them. And so I am streaming at twitch.tv/kicktripod. Find me. Just go to kicktripod.com. You can find links to everything right there. I'd love to hang out with you on the stream.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it'll be fun.
Very cool. And I know that I'm going to be going out to Salt Lake City, or actually the Salt Lake area, I guess, Utah, to go out to Nerdtacular. I'm so excited to see everybody out there. Can't wait to meet you this weekend. And it's going to be a great time. And don't forget about
Great.
great. And don't forget about
great.
my new show, Podcast Launchpad, over at podcastlaunchpad.com. And it's all about, what is it all about? It's all about podcasts. That's right. So I'm going to play that music. And I'm going to say, you can talk to us guys anytime you want to. That's right. Anytime you want, you just feel free to talk to us. You can email us at convertraid@gmail.com. You can call and leave comments and questions on our raid line, 612-787-RAID. That's 612-787-7243. And don't forget to join the Bazooba Guabo Nation by heading over to convertraid.com, where we have our show downloads, our Discord infos, our videos, our audios, and all the guild stuffs and more over at convertraid.com. And the Convert to Raid party, the CTR party for BlizzCon, if you want to check out the Kickstarter and all that stuff, convertraid.com/party.
Party.
Thank you. We are also on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, iHeartRadio, and around the internet, so you can find us anywhere. Convert to Raid is produced and distributed by Signals Media. Make sure to check out all of our friends at the Signals Media All-Star Network at signalsmedia.com. Guys, thank you so much for joining me tonight on this show right before our 2-week hiatus, I guess. And Twitch chat, thank you guys for always making things more interesting with your presence. And to you guys out there, no matter where you are, thank you so much for checking us out. That's going to be it for us and for all the guys on Convert to Raid. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye.